Hello readers, I am Ms Nikki. Welcome to Storytime. There are a lot of inspiring people who have done really good things in the world, and I love learning about them. In today's read aloud titled Harlem Grown, a true story about how one big idea transformed a neighborhood, introduces us to this inspiring man named Mr. Tony Hillery. He is the author of the book as well as the founder and director of Harlem Grown. Harlem is a neighborhood in New York City, and that is where this story takes place. Let's begin. Harlem Grown, How One Big Idea Transformed a Neighborhood, written by Tony Hillery and illustrated by Jessie Hartland. Once in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was an empty lot. Nevaeh called it the Haunted Garden. It was cluttered with wrecked couches, old TVs, broken bottles, and empty cans. Once in a big city, in a bustling neighborhood, there was Nevaeh's school. PS 175 it was called, and it sat across from the haunted garden. One day a man came to PS 175. Mr. Tony, the kids called him. When Mr. Tony saw those kids and that haunted garden, he had an idea. He began to clear the haunted garden, one piece of trash at a time. Soon it was a clean slate, a blank canvas. Mr. Tony laid down new clean soil. He invited Nevaeh to help. Nevaeh started to plant. Then she dug holes in the ground. Into the holes she placed her seedlings, and then she carefully covered them with dirt. Her friends came too. 400 seedlings went into the ground, one for each kid. Basil, mint, cilantro, rosemary. Then the kids watered and weeded, and their plants began to grow. Once when Nevaeh came to the lot after school, her plant was wilted and sad. "We'll try again," said Mr. Tony. "We'll plant something different." Wood, hammer, nails, Mr. Tony built raised beds for the plants. The kids tried again, peas and broccoli, mint and eggplants. They watered and weeded. And at last, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, blueberries, strawberries, collard greens, kale, basil, arugula. Mr. Tony watched and helped and smiled. More kids came from the neighborhood. They tended their plants, which grew and grew. Up came more fruits and vegetables. The kids took their green beans and carrots and cucumbers home to their families for dinner. Once in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was a man with an idea. There were kids who wanted to help, and they made a farm. The end. I love this story, and after reading it, I wanted to learn more about the Harlem Grown program. This amazing program basically supports and mentors young people through urban gardening. I also enjoyed the author's Dear Reader letter in the back. Mr. Tony shares that he knew nothing about gardening or farming when he started this project. But he knew there was a problem and he wanted to be part of the solution. There were many failures along the way as well, but instead of seeing them as failures, he and the students he worked with saw it as a learning opportunity to make the next steps better. This book and message is a great reminder that each of us can make a difference in this world. Thank you for listening. Please join me soon for another read aloud. Until then, take care of yourself and each other and stay curious.